Hey, I didn't see you there. But while I have you here, let's talk about shipping charts. You know, those things you would draw to map out the relationships between your favorite characters? As you might recall, in our last lecture, we discussed love triangles. You would think that the next step after that would be discussing love polygons, but you would be wrong. The basic polygons are things like cubes, tetrahedrons, octahedrons, dodecahedrons, and icosahedrons. And as we know, there's no love to be found in those shapes because these solids are platonic. And shipping charts are far from platonic. They're messy, and they're interconnected, and someone's gonna get hurt eventually. But how do you take these relationships and boil them down to as many happy-ish relationships as possible? Well, let me introduce you to the stable marriage problem. Mathematicians have spent a sad amount of time thinking about meeting a special someone. And, as you can guess, they tried to solve this problem using math. Say you have two equally sized groups of people who want to be paired off with a special someone. Each member of each group has their own ranked preference of the other. And sorry, there can't be any ties, so Sonic has to decide whether he likes Twilight Sparkle over Amy Rose. And now, our goal here is to marry these people off so that no two people would rather be with each other than their spouses. And there's a guaranteed solution. It goes as follows. Every member of Group A proposes to the top of their list. If the recipient is single, they say yes. If they're already engaged but prefer their new proposer, the target breaks up and says yes. Any Group B member that rejects a proposal gets crossed off of the suitor's list. This rejection does not hurt the suitor's self-esteem. It does not cause them to reevaluate their priorities, and it does not send them into an existential spiral of self-doubt and hatred. They will not drop out of this process, no matter what. And once every member of Group A is proposed, you repeat this process with anyone who still isn't engaged. And then you keep repeating until everybody is paired off. And that's it. It's straightforward, and it leaves people, if not happy, then at least they're not able to home wreck, because anyone that Sonic prefers to their current spouse prefers their current spouse to Sonic. But wait, I hear you ask. What if two members of Group B are interested in each other? So, let's explore the marriage space. And along this marriage dimension, we get a little gayer. If you dig a little bit, there's actually a version of this problem where everyone's just in one big group. The solution is a lot like the previous one, so I won't go into too many details except to say that this one isn't strictly guaranteed to succeed, and sometimes a group is just destined to fail. What is this version of the stable marriage problem called? The stable roommates problem. The stable roommates problem. Just a bunch of guys sharing a home. Gals being pals. Mathematicians will say they were roommates. The name doesn't even make sense for this version of the problem. It only ever assumes that you have one roommate, and half of college I had 3. But that brings us to a new dimension in our marriage space, number of partners. Let's take a step back again to the straight side of the chart, and then move down a new axis to multiple partners. Here we find an algorithm where members of Group B can have multiple partners from Group A, but members of Group A can only match with one partner of Group B. This would be, of course, polygamy, or polyamory. You'd think that if they started with the idea of marriage, they'd at least keep the naming schemes a little sexy? University admissions aren't sexy at all. At least my university admissions weren't that sexy. But was it my fault for just going into computer engineering? Oh well, there's a sexy degree on anyone's wall. I haven't seen it, so let's just keep moving along this axis, further into the poly space. Once again, we have 2 separate groups. Members from Group A can have multiple partners from Group B, but this time, members from Group B can also have multiple partners from Group A. And this time, they called it like it was. Many-to-many matching, stable polyandrous polygamy, or polygamous polyandry. Good for them, but you can still see this is pretty straight. So, we have to start going further back. into the gay space. So we have the stable roommates problem, but what if we add more roommates? Turns out these two nerds have. Unfortunately, this version doesn't have the flexibility of the other algorithms on the left. You have to be roommates with everyone in the group, and everyone's stuck sharing an apartment with the same number of people. So we're going to have to put it down here. And here's where you'd expect me to take you to the promised land, the glorious upper right portion of the marriage space. But I can't. I've been trying to find it, but if it exists, it's probably hidden behind some dumb name. But if I can suggest any names for any future papers, I'd like to see Polypan and the Lust Boys, Harry Potter and the Orgy of the Penis, What the Hell is Going On with Homestuck, and Your Spouse? I think you mean Our Spouse. So until I can find it, I'll be waiting for something with a dumb name like the University Admissions Problem. But in the meantime, maybe you could join my class? Hey, so this is like the first time I've wanted this calculator watch in a while, and I wanted you guys to see it, just in case, it didn't show up in any of the shots.